That's the wrong key.
And I just got thinking about. Wait, what?
And I can't stop thinking about. That's where
First
it
of
is.
all,
About the lady life could
you are
be.
not going to change. I was not singing that key. That is not the key I
And
want to
I
be
can't
singing
stop
today.
thinking about.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
but you love me to leave me.
How you
Going
gonna hijack my
to
song?
right in my head. Gotta know that ain't for me.
She
Then
not even a
I would
soprano.
die if you decide you won't see me again.
Why the
That's all.
faces?
Because you have to sing it like that. Listen, that trash clip that you sent
Mm.
me,
Wow, did you just pop like
that trash clip, and that wasn't even a good pop. That trash clip that you sent me,
it wasn't trash?
it was first of all, I don't even know where to start. like, I don't know where to start.
So let me start here. First of all, I should have, before I got on this here call with you on the interweb, looked up, and maybe you'd know, or you can put it in post, the history of April Fool's Day. You know the history of April Fool's Day?
I don't. I just assumed it was a holiday where people were trash to each other, and somehow they thought that everybody needed to be trash to each other on that day. It is. If I could talk about holidays I absolutely despise, April Fool's Day is number one.
Yeah, I know. I know. Like, I think that
I
there could be a true tragedy on April Fool's Day, and you wouldn't believe it. Because I know I've called you before, and you just be like, no, I don't.
No, you're hanging up. You could be legit in the hospital, and I'm like, I'm hanging up.
Call me
Call
tomorrow.
me at midnight. Call me at midnight. You know the rules.
I
Midnight
know.
Pacific time. Like not even midnight, like, oh, it's midnight somewhere. No. By the time we hit Pacific time, we have crossed the world. It is April 2nd somewhere.
It's
Okay?
got it. You have to at least accept it if it's the time zone that I'm in. And if I'm in your time zone,
Mm-mm.
then you have to accept the fact that in Central Time or wherever you
Mm-mm.
are. Okay. Well, anyway,
I hate April Fool's Day.
I know you. I
I hate the idea of pranks. Pranks to me, like that show. What is that show?
Okay,
What
so
is
let me
that
tell you.
show?
So the name of that. So now, granted, there's gobs of prank shows, gobs,
Mm,
but that one I watched because it's called Revenge Prank,
yes.
and it's got superstars on there from Jersey
Your
Shore.
your mic is amazing. So whatever you are fiddling with is so loud.
You can hear this.
Yes.
So let me explain this. Let me explain what this is. So
I know what it is.
so it's got
I
these
have
perfect little
ADHD
buttons you
too.
can
I know what it is. It is a fidget
and a
cube,
light
and it
switch
is like,
and a little turner.
and I want you to know I'm leaving this in just so that people can.
I didn't know. I didn't know that you could hear it. It's just like,
It is so loud.
but it's calming. So what am I supposed to do? It's calming.
Oh my gosh.
So I uncalm myself.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. I feel like this is a prank. Like, like you were pranking me. Like, let's see if she can fix this in
No,
post.
yeah, revenge prank. So basically, um, there is a person who wants to prank someone in revenge because they pranked them and that prank went viral. So the one that you were seeing that I sent you, which I thought was phenomenal because number one, it's in my field, and number two, it was just phenomenal. These sisters, and they weren't feeling the behavior of their mom on the interweb. And I'm gonna stop saying the internet. So
The
basically,
interwebs on
uh,
Jeff Bezos's internet.
inter and Disney Netflix Plus. So they decided that they were going to prank their mom because their
Hmm.
mother, apparently with herself, is twerking on her social media page. Now let's, let's be clear. These children are like grown.
Yes.
They have their own place, they have their own jobs. Like these are grown kids. We're not talking
Hmm.
about like 5-year-olds and a mom who, still remembering what she did back in the no, we're talking about a grown mom who would probably have gray hair if, you know, she didn't stop going to the salon. Okay.
Okay.
Sure, mom, twerking. Now, let's take a break. What you do in your closet,
No
in your
judgment.
no judgment zone. Look, that's the no
No
judgment.
judgment. That's a no
No.
judgment. No judgment. See the substance. See, you won't get any of those jokes if people haven't been watching. They won't get none of those jokes. No judgment. There we go. There we go. Right there. There it is.
Go back and watch the episode. You'll find that. But at any rate, so this mature mama is twerking. So they're just like, okay,
Hmm.
we don't appreciate this. We're gonna do a revenge prank. So I can't remember if it was Vinny or Polly, whoever from Jersey Shore
Yes,
was
I know.
doing that
And
one.
see, and we have yet to address my complete and utter disdain for reality television, and I think it stems from Jersey Shore. But keep going,
No.
keep going.
Okay. Because that's a whole nother episode. So at any rate, they decide that
Uh-huh.
so apparently it's very clear that the mother has favorites. So the favorite, youngest one, is going to act like she's pregnant. The mother doesn't know, but she finds out because there's a obstetrical emergency in the ambulance.
First of all, I don't understand hearing about this prank because the prank that I saw was the family health center, which actually kind of stems into my husband's line of work.
So you saw the
That's the
baby
prank
mama
you
prank?
sent me.
No, you have to
Okay?
watch it. Pull it up.
No.
No, pull it up real quick. Pull it up. You can edit it out. Pull it up. Watch it real quick. It's
Wait,
8
okay,
minutes.
wait. I'll watch it. Okay.
Can you scrub through it?
Yeah,
'Cause you
they're
you
in
have
the
to watch
ambulance right now.
it. Okay. You see the ambulance? You see people getting in the ambulance?
They're in the ambulance.
All right.
See, mom looked like she about to throw hands. There's so much cussing, and cussing never bothers me, but this is so outrageous. This is terrible. First of all, I cannot even with this show. That
Wait, did you finish it? Did it finish the prank?
Yes,
Okay.
it's done. The prank is over,
Did
and
you did you see the mother
it
go
went
off
eight
because
minutes longer than it needed to go. Is what all I'm saying.
did you see when the mother said, "Why did you do this? I have a bad heart."
She said I have bad nerves.
She has bad nerves. Oh my goodness. That prank. So wait, first of all, you recognize why I like that prank.
Because it's medical. Like there's something I
Well,
don't.
it's medical, it's a pregnant patient. I thought she did really well because see, and you see, this is important for you creatives. She spaced out those yells appropriately, like every 2 minutes or so, like a person in active labor. So, I mean, I like the fact that she wasn't like constantly screaming. It was just like scream, wait, contraction, go down, contract, scream. I thought that was perfect. The other thing is they had the IV, they had all of the things that was, I mean, it was perfect. Other than the fact that they had way too many people in that ambulance, though. Like you're not gonna have that many people in the ambulance. The mother and the sister. Wow, you look traumatized. Cricket.
No,
You don't like the prank?
no, no. This is exactly why I don't like April Fool's Day. This is why I don't like surprises. This is why I overplan things
Wait,
fully
who doesn't like
because
surprise?
no,
So tell
no,
me what you disliked about it, because I enjoyed it.
everything.
No.
First of all, just think for a moment when you put someone, it's one thing to be like, ha, surprise. But when you put someone in physical, like you're a doctor, like like blood pressure, heart
Heart rate.
palpitations,
Yeah.
fight or flight, like all that's kicking in, like your amalgamations or whatever. What is it called? What's that gland called?
First of all, I'm like, what are you talking
The
about? Dentistry?
amygdala. Enter the amygdala. Like you're making it do
Ugly.
things it ain't supposed to be doing. And then when you get the person to the height of their absolute tragic moment, you're just like, ha ha ha.
Gotcha.
Like, what? How is that okay? That is not okay. Like, none of this is okay. Like, first of all, and then can we talk about production costs? Like, that was a real ambulance.
Oh, that was a real
Like,
ambulance.
did they get permission from the city? Like, this is just like all of this stuff is going on in my head. Like, he was actually driving. They were freaking out because mom was standing up in the ambulance while it was moving. If she had gotten hurt, how do you explain that? Be like, it was supposed to be a joke, but now mom has a concussion because she hit the floor of the ambulance. Like, what?
I mean, that's a
Mm-mm.
risk. Just like when you have surgery, they tell you the pros and the cons. If you're gonna prank somebody, you know the pros and the cons, and that
But
might
I
give you the
need to
bait.
know my own pros and cons. I need to know my own risks. I don't want to get in the ambulance thinking that I'm gonna be on my way. And can we discuss how pregnancy labor is never a good prank? Like all of the notes.
So it was
All of the
interesting.
notes.
I like the prank because I think they really got the mom. As you go, further into the video, and she calms down. I She talks about how she's still going to do her dancing.
No, she's still gonna, because as far as I'm concerned, if I was mom, I would be petty and like step up my twerking. Like,
Mm.
I'm stepping it up a notch. Like, because of this foolishness, yeah, watch. Next video, nude. Like, that's how we play games up in here. You wanna play games with people's heart palpitations? Okay.
But now you just said something interesting, because yeah, she could have fallen. Yeah, she could have had a stroke. I don't know what her blood pressure status was prior to the actual prank itself. But you said game. Now that's one of the biggest pranks that I think, and it was a gift. But you remember the movie The Game?
But that was fiction, okay? People are
Oh,
playing these games in real life. Like, that was fiction. I love that movie, but because it was fiction. Like, can you imagine?
the whole the pregnancy was
In the
fiction.
movie, okay, spoiler alert, right? Spoiler alert, right? In the
First of all,
game, you
first of
remember there
all,
was part.
that movie is so old. If you spoiler alert anybody, that's their fault, because that movie's too old. You should have watched it already. Go ahead.
Right. Spoiler alert, right? I see dead people or whatever. No. Um you remember the part in the game movie where they put him in that runaway cab
Yep.
and he went careening off of the side of
Yes.
the bridge, cab submerged in water, and he realized that he had a piece that he had to acquire earlier, which he happened to have in his pocket. Because that really, when you think about it, in the actuality of that movie, it only worked because he was observant and picked up stuff along the way. If he had skipped a step, he'd have drowned. Like, there was
Well,
never a moment where you felt like, as a viewer, like, oh, there were some scuba divers waiting on the side. They're gonna help him. They're gonna save him. Like, that wasn't a thing. Like, he had to have that piece, and he realized that's what rolled the window down. Then he could swim,
he could
and then
right.
he went up to the
He could
top. Right,
swim
all of that.
well.
He swam very well, because I can tell you, as a person who could survive. I would not call myself a swimmer, but I could survive if you threw me in the water, as opposed to, present company included, may not.
Well, if the
But
adrenaline kicks in, I can, but just regular doing laps, that's not gonna
no,
happen.
there's a different, so it had sunk pretty low.
Yeah.
And there is something about, and I don't know if anybody else does this whenever you watch movies. I don't know if you do, but there, whenever a character is in the water, you hold your breath like as watching just to
No.
see. You don't do that because you're a loser. Because that's what people do. They hold their breath
Who are these
as
people?
long. No, no, no. You've never done that. Like you hold your breath to see if you could hold your breath as long as the character in this particular peril. The problem with that is that as a swimmer, when you're underwater, when you are exerting energy to get to the surface, the holding your breath is a little harder than it is if you're just
Sure.
sitting on your couch holding your breath, right? So
Right.
he had enough breath to get to the surface, right? We're swimming up to the surface, we got enough breath, right? We swimming up to the surface, got enough breath. And then he gets out and he's okay, right? But you realize that all of those things had to have been like all of those things had to happen like right on its mark or he would have died.
But you know how it did. You remember before
Because
he
it was
went
his
on.
brother, yeah, his brother, yeah, put him up to it or whatever. Or
No, no, no,
his
no, no, no.
brother gave him the gift. What?
He did, but they went through a whole day of psychological testing. So they knew what they were dealing with. They knew what kind of mind he had. They knew the fact he could swim. They knew the fact he was observant. They knew that he wouldn't freak out if he woke up in Mexico graveyard, that he would hitchhike and figure out how to get back.
First of all, that's all figurative. Like, let's be honest, okay? It's one thing for you to have been in medical school dissecting a cadaver. It's
Right.
a whole different thing when you are crashing a pregnant lady and you're having to do a C-section. Like those are two different. Everything works in theory, okay? So I'm just saying that in theory, your mom shouldn't have a heart attack in the back of an ambulance when you're
Not
just like,
playing.
in theory.
Well,
Her hair was nice though.
her hair looked so cute. I mean,
Her hair was
she was.
yes, yes,
But they
queen.
did but did you hear they did the prank right when she was coming from church, so she was already dolled up. I like that. I like the prank shows.
I will say this. I can understand why you like it as a medical person because had I not known I was watching a prank, I was convinced that the lady in the back of the ambulance was a medical professional.
Oh,
The
yeah.
EMT,
She was a
they
great
do
actor.
their research. They do
Yeah.
their research.
That's one of the most it's more accurate than some movies I've seen.
I mean, we ain't got to throw the shade at the movies.
I mean,
We ain't
it's
got to
true.
throw shade at the movies. We
It's
don't. But it was. I was convinced. It was like watching an episode of ER.
There's
We
another
just
prank
always
show. They go over the top. Like they bring in aliens and demons and oh my goodness, it's so
there has
bad.
got to be like a danger here. I just feel like this is
So
dangerous.
if you notice some of the prank shows where the person who set up the prank, which is their friend, they'll run out and be like,
I need
"Oh."
you to do that. Their friend.
There are a couple of those shows where they'll run out and they have like a really cold bottle of water and they
I've
hand it
never
to the
noticed
person.
that.
Yes. Because I remember the first couple of times I watched it and I was just like, what's with the water? And then there was one prank and I was just like, this person's gonna die. And then they gave him the water and I was just like, oh, it's to pull down. So allegedly, the water's supposed to be able to help with um, lowering the anxiety, lowering your heart rate, that type of thing. So I think that's why they bring it to I cannot think of the name of that show, but oh my goodness, it is phenomenal. And they bring out that water and you think people are going to straight die. I mean, because they really think that like a demon is after them or an alien is after them.
Wait, is this that show where they convinced some woman who was working in a lab that something had happened with the lab rats? And
Yes.
then they had a little person dressed as a giant
Yes.
rat run after her down the hallway. That not having already been covered in lawsuits is amazing to me because I have
Thank
seen
you.
that show.
I told you it's funny, and it was
It's
probably the
not.
same little
No, there's
person.
nothing about that. I watched that prank show. I think I watched a couple of episodes of that prank show, and I was so confused as to how nobody's been sued. Like, just
Well,
because.
because they have friends that are paying or setting them up to do it. I mean, it's because honestly, I don't think that anybody. I like look at that being said. I am not ever. I'm going to say this on national, international interweb. I know how much you dislike pranks. I know how much
Yes.
you dislike being so. You don't ever have to worry about me setting up a prank for you. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But that being said, all those other people, they set up pranks on people that they knew would think it was funny after they were finished being scared.
So
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
one of my favorite things I used to love is going with other people into haunted houses during, like October.
No.
That's hilarious to me because in my head I'm just like, as an adult, because I've gone with adults. I'm not talking about little kids. That's mean. But as
That
an
is
adult,
mean.
that is mean. Don't
That is
take a kid into a haunted house.
mean.
But in Nashville, they had like the haunted woods, and in they
And
have
you
one
actually have
in.
to walk in it or you drive through it?
No, you walk.
No. No.
No, you walk, but I'm about to explain my rationale. I'm about to explain it. You walk in
Okay.
the haunted woods, and people come out of the trees with like chainsaws. You get chased after in the whole 9 yards. They have one in Columbus, Ohio, at Kings Island. I forget what that was called, where you have to walk through this maze, and people are like jumping out at you or whatever. And you know why that's funny to me? Because number one, seeing people scared when you're around, when you're with them, is funny to me because in my head I'm just like, you knew walking in that nobody's allowed to touch you,
Mm-hmm.
and they're actors. Like, that going in. So when I go into haunted houses like that, even if I get a jump scare, it's funny to me because I know that under that guy that's wearing the Freddy Krueger mask, it's probably a guy named Dan who is working part time so he can afford Christmas presents for his kids. Like,
Aw.
so I'm gonna be like, ha! Like, I'll scream like, ah! Oh, it's Dan. Like, that's no big deal to me. And he'll get in your face, and it's funny. Everybody else is like screaming and peeing, through the haunted house, and it's funny to me because I'm just like, you guys, none of this is real. And maybe that's why I don't like pranks like this, is because they force you beyond because you remember with that mom prank, she was just like, my daughter's not pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because she's like, I would know, I'm her mother,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And
But
she's right.
right, but they kept pushing her past that
Yeah.
and forcing her to believe that it was true. When you're walking to haunted houses, nobody's forcing you to believe that's true. Those people are. Those are human beings. They're human people that are just to have masks on. When
You can
you
say
remember,
you can say what you want. I don't go in them. I
no,
don't do
you
haunted
remember,
houses.
you remember when we were in California and we went to it was a wax museum where they had like
Oh
the
yeah.
horror movies. But even then, it was funny to me. We were screaming through the whole thing because they used air to scare you. It wasn't even real things. It was just air. And and then we got to the end and it was hilarious. Why? Because it's wax figures. Nothing's gonna come to life, right? Nothing's gonna happen. So I don't like pranks that make you feel like it's actually happening to you, and then people be like, I'm
But
just
that's what
kidding.
makes it a prank. Like if you go through and you think it's, if fake, then it's not a prank. It's not a joke. It's not a prank. What is the definition? Let's Google internet search. What is the definition of prank? A prank is
A
legitimate.
mean
I'm
joke.
scared.
What the definition of prank is? A mean joke by a mean jerk who thought it would be hilarious to see your life flash before your eyes.
Now,
Pretty
I
much that's what Merriam-Webster says it is.
so I think that there are definitely pranks that go overboard. And I did not say any of this prank on purpose, but same show, they have a woman and her husband, a couple. They go parachuting. Well, He
Oh God.
not parachuting. Yeah, he goes
Bungee jumping or
skydiving. No,
parasailing?
skydiving, and
Skydiving. Okay.
he's doing tandem,
Yes.
and so she's watching because she's pregnant. She's watching on the ground, and they jump out.
Oh God,
Wait, they
no.
jump out. The parachute comes, and everything is fine. And they're like, "Oh, everything's fine." And then all of a sudden, the person who is jumping does some sort of something with their hand, and what she thinks is her husband is separated and dropped straight down to the ground.
Gina,
I thought that was horrible.
that's terrible.
It was horrible. So immediately she's just like, "What's happening? What's happening?" And they're like, "Oh no, we think that he was accidentally." And I was like, "You know
She
what?"
went into genuine shock. The fact
She
that
was
that was
so
her
shocked.
first reaction.
She went till far. She didn't scream it. She was just like, "What's going on?" And then by the time she got to the point of yelling and screaming, they're like, "Oh, my bad. It's just a joke." And he walks around the corner because he never actually went on the plane.
Who
What
would
they dropped was a
agree
mannequin.
to prank a pregnant woman? That
See,
is
to prank a death like that or to see that's traumatic. I think that's traumatic. But don't worry, I'll never have that done to you.
listen. You my ride or die. You know that we
I
since 19
hey, 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 hey,
and
hey.
80.
You're
Since
1980.
19 and 80. That's when we was introduced.
Yes.
You my girl, right?
Yes.
You would catch some serious hands on national television. I'm just telling you right now, this whole friendship, best friendship, sistership would go out the window.
I
The
would
moment that you were just like, just kidding, I would murder you.
I, I would
It
never.
would be a bloodbath in there. Like we would make the news. We would be on CNN like that, and that's a note for everybody. Like anybody
No.
be like, I don't believe Danita is serious about. Let me tell you something. Gina can attest to this. I get violent. Okay, like don't.
I'm mad you said CNN. I have to add that to the. I can't even do it with the. Yeah. No, trust me. When I saw that, I was watching and I was just like, I know they are not going to act like her husband is about to drop
That
3,000
is
feet out of the
terrible.
sky.
Like you're telling me about it,
It was traumatic.
and my heart is like that. I cannot believe he would do that to her. That is
Yeah. And they waited maybe 10 seconds, but it was a long 10 seconds for me. I was like, they need to tell the ladybug that that man is in the barn behind. Because I think he was trying to run to get to her, but kind of got blocked. I didn't even send it to you because trust me, I saw it live. When it happened, and I was just like, yeah, no.
so. Here's what's funny to me. Now I will say that the other clip that I saw where they were at that family life center and this dude was just like, I have a baby from a girl I got pregnant in high school.
Yes.
And his amazing wife that was every bit of 4'11" and 110 pounds stole on him like I
But
was just like he deserved it. Like those are the pranks where I'm just like the ones where everybody was shot. Like even Vinny, I think Vinny was the one that did that one.
yeah,
Even Vinny was shocked that hammer went from like Z. But here's what I don't understand. Anytime you see a woman of color pull
any
her hair
color.
back,
Any
like
color.
how did she sit there the whole time? And she was just like, she took her coat off. And I was just like, when I was watching, I was just like, this hammer about to go ham in this
Is
office.
that the one
And
too
then
from
she
the
pulled her hair back into a ponytail. And I was just like, oh no, she about to throw hands. And what did she do, class?
Hey Sister Swan?
Hey, Sister Swan. She about to throw hands.
She
So
threw
so
hands.
this is what you don't want. It's hands thrown.
But
You don't want
but
it.
they
You don't want that
they
smoke.
knew But they knew because once she walked into the room with her significant other, and the counselor said, "Okay, now this is what we're going to do. We're going to use the tree. And whoever has the tree is going to be the one talking or speaking. And then when it's your time to speak, then you'll have."
Yes,
When she said, "That's not going to
that's
work,"
not gonna work.
I said,
She
"You
was
know what?
already my favorite. She was already my favorite. She was like, that's not gonna work for me. I was like,
This is not going to
yes,
work for me."
queen.
So I got you to enjoy a prank show.
I don't know if I enjoyed it as much as I was just like, he deserved those hands. Like, what made that enjoyable was that she was beating the snot out of her husband, which should not be enjoyable. Here's what I am worried about is kids who grow up in a house where their parents are willing to go that far to prank. Like that to me is that's how you raise nervous children.
Do you raise nervous children, or you raise children who learn how to prank well? Like
Oh no.
at some
They
point, those nerves gotta go away.
listen, them kids got thick skin, is all I'm saying. Either that or they eating breakfast every morning like this. you as a board certified physician need to tell people not to do this to people.
What I would say is before you
Come on now. Or is this a seed of substance? Come on.
prank someone, make sure you know what pre-existing medical conditions they have to see if they can tolerate the prank, because you want it to be safe. And that's all you're going to get from me.
Because you like watching these trash shows.
The shade of it all. Not trash shows.
Here's my seed of substance. In theory,
Wait. The head and neck.
in theory, you may think they gonna find this hilarious, but I'm telling you, that might not be a gamble you should be willing to take. That's my seed of substance.
That seed of substance is too many words. Seed of substance has to be 5 words or less.
All right, you ready? Seed of substance. When it comes to prank, you don't want this smoke.
When it comes to pranks,
you don't want the smoke. You don't want it.
The seed of substance, don't prank Danita. That's one. The second seed of substance is
know your prankies pre-existing conditions.
Your prankies. Well, yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to say more of prank responsibly.
Okay. I like that. Prank responsibly. I like
prank
that.
Responsibly.
Yes.
Yes.
Because you don't want the smoke.
Because you don't want any smoke or fires.
We've merged the two.
And when you are recording with your sister, don't use your anti-anxiety. Use a cloth instead.
That was good, though. It does not make me a fan of prank shows. I will not be a fan of prank shows or pranks. We're about to get this water.
We're about to get this water because all of us have experienced a whole 2020 year prank. Looking forward to reality in 2020 and one. Whole prank.
Nobody should like prank shows after this. Hands down. It came all early in March. No more pranks.
No more pranks.
Bye, girl.
Bye, girl.
Oh my God. You realize that we witnessed that catastrophe in real life?
I do not realize.
Like we are the generation that saw a whole music group destroyed. Destroyed. Like terrible marketing and lip syncing.